Wetlands overall are really underappreciated compared to other ecosystems, and I think a lot of that is how they're represented in media. So if you think back to like movies of our childhood, The Never-Ending Story has The Swamp of Sadness, The Dead Marshes from Lord of the Rings, The Bog of Eternal Stench, just negative connotations and words used for wetlands, and I think that really seeps into public kind of perception of these ecosystems, and yet they're probably our most important. I'm Dr. Scott Davidson. I'm a lecturer in ecosystem resilience at the University of Plymouth. My research expertise are in how ecosystems like peatlands and wetlands function. So my research is mostly focused on how much carbon these ecosystems store. So I want to measure how much carbon is coming in through the plants and how much is being lost via decomposition and microbes. And so I go into these ecosystems, I use some equipment that measures the carbon coming in, the carbon going out, and I can calculate that and see whether I can say to someone, this site is a carbon sink, therefore it's storing more carbon than it's losing, or it's a carbon source, it's releasing carbon to the atmosphere. And overall, wetlands should be, in a healthy state, a carbon sink. If you think of them as a nature-based solution to climate change, that is the harnessing the power of nature to help us reach net zero. We can't do it without industry decarbonising and reducing fossil fuel use, but we can allow ecosystems to help us reach that goal. And wetlands are probably our best player in that fight. They store so much more carbon than all of the vegetation types in the world combined, and yet they're one of the first to be degraded and destroyed by us. So areas like this, although incredibly important, have become islands of biodiversity and carbon in a landscape that's pretty degraded. And so one part of my research program is to try and understand, can we expand these? Can we connect them, build corridors, make sure that these ecosystems are not in isolation anymore? And they're celebrated for how important they are, rather than thought of as just a wasteland. And so it's important that we come in here and say, this is how much carbon they store, this is how much biodiversity is, how many species are here, this is how much water they hold back. Please keep them intact.